Oh my god, you've got to get a photo of this for Insta.
What would be your top recommended book right now?
My top recommended book.
How to be Gangster 101.
Yeah.
Gangster for Dummies.
Cat in the Hat.
What's up, guys and girls? Welcome to another episode of the Generation Strong talk show. My name is Ray and I'm joined by my trusted partner in crime, Jessie. Today we are here with a woman that needs no introduction. She is a 6 times Australian champion, world record holder, and in the total and the squat.
And the deadlift. And yeah. And all the masters.
And everything that has to do with powerlifting. Phenomenal mother, a phenomenal friend, a phenomenal wife, and an overall very, very super humble and positive person. Liz, welcome.
Thank
to the
you.
talk show.
Hello.
How's your trip been so far?
It's been great. I've been having an awesome time. I came to talk at the Shero Strength Summit, and that was one of the best experiences of my life. Thank you, Jessie.
Thank you.
It was great to be involved. So strong women getting together and making each other stronger.
It was an incredible experience, and we're so grateful that you were able to be here.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
And Jessie also made me get a new tattoo.
I love that I'm getting blamed for this.
Yes, Leon, it was her.
It just happened to be.
I accidentally fell
She
into
just
the
woke
chair.
up one afternoon and she was like, oh my god, I'll get a tattoo.
Yeah, it's what happens in Dubai.
Yeah. What has been your greatest highlight so far, apart from the tattoo and the Shero Summit?
Well,
There's like 2 of the big ones.
well, my highlight, yesterday I went to the desert and we saw the sunset, and then we looked at the sky through the telescope and saw the moon. That was amazing. But mostly it's been meeting everybody from all over the world and, making new friendships, and feels like I've known everyone forever.
Yeah.
She fit in so easily. It's like,
I did. I should move here.
I mean, I was just going to say 2 years later, you'll see Liz buying an apartment here.
Yeah, cool.
This is where I'm going to be.
Actually, that would be, because then I could have one of those cars that everyone's driving. Everyone drives Ferraris, BMWs, Jaguars. It's like normal.
Yeah, just because you live here, you drive one. So yeah, I wish.
They give you one.
Massive amounts of debt too. Anyways, we'll not get into
Or
that.
you could drive my Kia.
Yeah.
You can drive my Patrol.
I couldn't, because I couldn't actually touch the
I think it would be really cute. I think it would be really cute. Right? What has been the most surprising aspect of being in Dubai? What have you been surprised by the most?
Well, before I came, I assumed that it was going to be dangerous, and it's been extremely safe. I thought, people would be unfriendly. You get this idea. And when I got here, you can walk around at any time of night. You feel safe taking money out, and everybody I talk to has been extremely friendly and helpful, which is just a great place.
And I think Dubai, what is it, the 3rd safest place in the world? Second safest?
Yeah, well, I never would have known that.
Yeah,
As everybody said to me, oh, you better be careful when you're there,
Everyone who's
Nothing
never
like
been
that.
here
Yeah,
before,
everyone's
really.
Yeah.
Hashtag Dubai tourism. Alrighty. Moving on. Let's talk about the journey to the world stage. So you were, as we understand, you were not always an athlete?
No, I was the opposite of an athlete. I played no sport at school. I read, I painted and drew, and in my teenager years I became a party girl, which lasted for about 18 years of no training, and unless dancing in nightclubs is included as training. And
Part of it, right?
yeah,
Like a
still
video
fitness. I was drink fit.
That could be a new company, I swear. Drink Fit. Can have like party games and people drinking and doing like the, what's that video game called again? I don't know, people dance on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
DDR.
We.
DDR, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Drink DDR. Drink
Just
Fit.
You can use that
Yeah.
if you like. Yeah, so basically I would have, anybody that knew me in that time would have laughed if you said I was ever going to be an elite athlete or at the top of my field in any sport, because I'm not actually a coordinated person, but I'm strong. So what happened was I was partying, and I was partying too hard. It was kind of affecting my life. I moved to Canberra to help my mum with my dad when he was getting sick, and it kind of stopped the cycle of partying because I had finally done something unselfish. I moved everything there, so I was removed from my group of party friends, that kind of thing, had kept bringing me back into that world. So when I was walking through the mall one day, I saw those Fitness First people, and they were advertising a new gym opening, and I thought, why not? Because, Fitness First.
Who would have known?
And I joined that gym, and they gave away 3 free PTs when you join. And my trainer was terrible, but he helped me. He wasn't the trainer I wanted, but the trainer I needed. He destroyed me. And then if I was hungover, there was no way I was completing the workout. So every time he was just as hard on me, and it was exactly what I needed. When he was training me that way, we discovered that I was strong. I had no idea before that, and he got me into CrossFit, and I was keeping up with the girls that were 70 plus kilos, and I was weighing 51 kilos at that time. And he got me to regionals, and the addiction was replaced with another addiction. All of a sudden I was good at something. I'd never thought I would ever be good at something like that, especially not a sport. So training became my addiction, and it was a little bit, I was training too much. And so 3 times a day. And I became...
Too much.
Yes, too much.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. As a natural athlete, that's quite hard. I got married, and I became pregnant with Abby, and I was still so obsessed with training that it was really hard for me to be pregnant and see my strength and everything start going. But I had Abby. Abby's one of the best things that's ever happened in my life, and I thought I'll get strong for CrossFit again because I'm a trainer, and I kind of like walking the walk, walking the talk, and so I wanted to get back to being an athlete again. I started strength training. My strength coach at that time, he saw my lifts, and he said, this was 3 months after having Abby, he said, you're strong enough to go to nationals. So I went, why not?
Why couldn't someone tell me that?
You're strong enough to go to nationals.
Thank you.
You just have to believe in yourself.
You
Right?
just got to believe.
I need that coach. I need that coach
You
at
just need to be pregnant 3 months before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try
Well,
that too.
A lot of people say, because before I had Abby, I found it really hard to hit depth, and then the pregnancy kind of widened my hips out, and I was hitting depth. A lot
So
of
you
guys
got
are saying, how do I hit? Yes, he got depth.
Shameless advertising.
Oh,
again.
wow. Good segue, I like that. And anyway, so I went to nationals. I was a very mediocre lifter back then, but I was kind of strong. I've got a lot of brute strength. And I managed to talk my way into getting to Worlds, which was the second Raw Worlds in Russia. And I was training there and I was doing my squats, and the Russian coach walked up to me and said, if I coached you, you could be one of the best in the world. And that kind of blew my mind, and I was like, whatever. And then it kept going through my head. And I thought, well, if he says that, why not try? And I started being coached by Mike Teixeira of RTS, and that worked really well for me. I've been his guinea pig many times for many of his different systems. And within a year, he'd added over like 100 kilos to my total. Yeah. And
Mike, I need you.
yeah, everyone needs Mike. And that kind of training worked for me, because also RP makes you accountable and it makes you have to think about what you're doing. And it also made me brave, because I had to push under that bar because I had to reach my RPE of 9 all the time. So I was hitting weights I used to be scared of. And the more you do it, the less you're scared, isn't it? It's practice. My first trainer, Josh Birch, he actually got me to be a coach as well, because he saw something in me.
Nice.
And I apprenticed with him.
Yeah.
It was one of the best things I've ever done.
And you're still a coach, huh?
I am still a coach 12 years later,
Boom.
especially in an industry where people burn out after 1 year.
That is true.
It's hard to
That is
find
very true.
coaches.
Yeah.
And I've still
And
got
good
clients
coaches.
from the very beginning.
Well, only the smart coaches have survived.
Yeah.
Actually, if you look at it, only the smart ones have actually survived. All the other ones
Thanks,
have burnt out.
You said I'm smart.
Only the generation of strong have actually survived.
Only girls who squat.
Yeah.
1001, 1002.
You talked about, you started with Mike. How long have you been training with him now?
6 years.
So how has your training evolved from when you first started with him to what your training is like now?
Okay, so I started on his basic program, which was 3 days a week. So it would be squat, bench, and usually military press reps, and it would be progressive. So we would go something like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 over the weeks. And the day 2 would be bench, deadlift, and then another, like a row. And the third one would usually be either squat or deadlift. Something like paused or with chains or banded. And same with bench. And something for your mid-back. You made me do that.
Okay.
So something that we've discussed recently is like
I
that.
haven't told you how to progress.
Oh yeah. I'm like, okay.
Well, she
So that
progressed
was
from
your first thing.
from the red band to the green
I
band.
got distracted by the bands.
She did progress.
Yeah, now I pull apart so with this. No. So then I said I wanted a bit more volume, because I'd come from CrossFit, I could handle a lot of volume. Once I'd stopped making that kind of newbie gains, and he put me on 4 days. So it was 2 deadlifts a week and about 3 squats. 3 squats a week, and benching maybe 5 different variations over the 4 days. And then I was one of his originals for the emergent strategies, which is where we were doing the singles at 8, and we'd repeat the same 2 days over and over. So day 1 would be comp, bench, and deadlift, and 2 accessories, and the other ones would be, say, paused squat, banded deadlift, and a long pause bench with another bench, close grip, and a row. And they were long sessions, but my lifts I became very good at singles, and I became very technically sound with my lifting. It was a lot of volume, but my gains I was PBing every single week.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I kind of burnt out a bit with it by the end of last year, so now I've gone back to more squatting twice a week, deadlifting twice a week as opposed to 4. And I'm still benching a lot, about 5 or 6 times, because I need to punish myself for how bad my bench is. And rows, etc., mid-back.
Do you feel like for beginner to like intermediate, it's better to squat frequently, and then as you become more elite, you squat a little less frequently because you're already good at it now, and
Yes.
you've hit that groove and you know where you stand.
Yes, because the weight I lift now is so much more that it exhausts me, especially deadlifts. When I was deadlifting 4 times a week, that by the end of last year, I'd do a deadlift and I felt all my strength drain out of me, you know, and that's when I knew I've got to pull it back, otherwise I won't be able to maintain. And mentally, 4-hour training sessions are too long, you know. I was training 20 hours a week. It was like a part-time job.
Especially, it's too long if that's not the only thing you're doing.
Yes.
Like, I see this quite often with people who are comparing themselves to like professional athletes,
Yeah.
and they're like, they train for 4 hours a day. It's like they train for 4 hours a day, and then the rest of their life is recovery.
Recovery,
But
rest.
like, you're a mum, you're a coach.
Yes.
Like, we're trying to balance all the other things and then fit the training in, and then we're not sleeping. We're not doing all the other recovery work.
Yeah, we're living on 5 hours sleep a night, you know, which is not ideal. And you need to get proper nutrition. You need to just even try and get your stretching or, you know, your foam rolling, whatever you do to recover.
Everybody's body's different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You gotta find what works for you.
Or just chill out,
Yeah.
you know, stare at a wall. Got no time. So
what are your things that you're doing for like for that, not to recover, so that you're not feeling broken?
these days, well, I've always actually had good massage therapists, I want to do that less and just be less broken, so I don't need it as much. So I'm working more on my stabilizing muscles. I've been doing a lot more transverse work and getting my core strong. And then I've been walking, which, you know, and doing a little bit of cardio style thing, which I know we all frown at it as powerlifters, but for me, I feel better, fresher mentally. I feel like my hips open up, my back feels longer, everything feels better after I do it. So if you're going to feel better mentally and you can go into your next training day fresh, then I think it's a good idea for you. Yeah. I don't understand why people just listen to what other people say without actually trying things themselves.
I think we logically know this, but the point that was made over the weekend of the summit with Dr. Sonia is the magic in the gym isn't in the training. It's the recovery after, where the body rebuilds itself.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you get strong.
Yeah.
And we're all so often in this state of like punishing ourselves, and we never get to have that, the muscles growing and the bones and the ligaments and tendons having a chance to fully like heal themselves.
Yeah. And you know, because we're scared of being lazy, we're always thinking, well, if I don't do this training session, am I lazy, and am I going to pay for that on the platform, you know, or when I'm testing? Because you don't ever want that thought to go through your head that I've left a stone unturned, you know. So that's it, but you've got to start listening to your body. And now that I've pulled back a bit, feeling fresher at every session, I'm lifting more weight. And I'm lifting it better with less chance of injury. So that's common sense. If someone was telling me that, I'd say, well, obviously you do it then, you know. It's harder when you're inside yourself going, I don't know, am I lazy? You know.
I had this conversation with my coach, so I started training with Chris Fudge recently. Like, it's been about 3 to 4 weeks, and I've been beaten, I've been battered. Like, I have not gone through. You remember the messages I was sending you at like 12 o'clock at night. I'm still here. I started at like 7:38. And
Midnight.
it was like
that's crazy.
Constantly above 75-80% of the 1 rep max, and it was just going on. And just having that discussion with him after 2 weeks. I mean, he doesn't know my body. He doesn't. It's just more overseas, and he's still understanding how I function. And I'm like, man, we got events coming up. I'm sleeping 4 hours, 5 hours, this, that. So he dropped everything like 15 to 20%. He's like, bro, like, you're only as good as your recovery. So
it's true. That's the magic, isn't it?
I'm like, I'm not squatting over 155. I'm happy. My hips are happy.
Yeah.
I started jogging before my workouts just to get like the blood flowing, and it's like, contrary to belief, like I feel better,
Yeah.
and even afterwards. Like,
When
I
you
run,
feel better, you
yeah.
train better.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
so
happier,
much of
excited.
actual, well, exactly. So much of heavy lifting is here.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you're not going to get weaker by doing a walk.
Yeah.
We're built to walk.
And like, I noticed this a lot with a lot of elite athlete, like powerlifters especially. Like they're strong on the platform, but like ask them to go for a jog and they'll die. Like, what about quality of life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
What about when the zombies come?
exactly.
I know.
She knows all about it.
I'm not going to
She
be
was
the
training for
person.
the zombie apocalypse.
I'm not going to be the person dying in your zombie apocalypse. I'm going to outrun
I probably
them all.
I probably will.
As long as I'm faster than Ray.
I bet I can run faster than you though.
As long as there's no handstand walks
For a
you
bit.
have to do.
I'm pretty sure Ben and I are going to be fine.
We'll see.
If you burnt their
Silver.
brain.
Vampires are silver.
Yeah.
No, that's werewolves.
Werewolves.
Vampires are silver too.
Yeah, vampires are
No,
silver.
vampires are
No,
probably
no.
like steaks.
Yeah, you're right.
Steaks.
Yeah. It's
Damn
not
it, know your freaking monsters list.
Moving on to a big question over here with a lot of the upcoming athletes is diet and nutrition off season when you're getting ready for a comp and comp day. What would be your thoughts on switching from the off season a nutrition plan to getting ready for a comp and then comp day? Is there any difference or?
So it depends, because I'm a weight class, athlete. Sometimes I'm 52s, 53s, or 57s, and when it's 57s, I just eat as normal, and when I'm 52s, I have to try and bring my weight down even in the off season so that it's around 54, so it's not going to be a hard weight cut. Because for me, I don't like the idea of the weight cut taking my strength.
Correct.
Yeah. So I will try and eat as much as I can and maintain. Basically, as much food as you can get in for recovery as well. And that's another reason why walking is good, because you're able to eat a bit more. And
Important.
so when I start cutting, I count macros. I also do,
Speakers.
what's that?
So it gives you more like space for cake.
That's it. Well, cake is a macro, isn't
Cake
it?
is life. Life is cake.
And yeah, so when I'm starting to cut, I will count my macros, I will start working out, use my stopwatch, that sort of thing, and keep a good eye on everything, because I still want to eat as much as I can whilst cutting. And then usually that last week before comp is not that much fun, because I will start water loading, I will start getting rid of salt, I will lower my carbs, and the last couple of days as I cut, it's very low density, kind of low fibre food. Yeah,
Straight through.
it doesn't weigh much either, it doesn't,
Yeah.
and I've never not made weight, but I've had some excruciating times.
What would be the go-to low-density foods?
One of my friends, it's like chocolate almonds. I will eat rice and chicken, or just even rice cakes. They're so light, they kind of fill you up. A bit of peanut butter,
Yeah,
yeah, that sort of thing.
simple. Cool.
But also then comp day.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I have comp day, I do oats, a scoop of protein, yogurt, and peanut butter and blueberries. Wherever I go, I make sure I take that. As long as I can't always get the blueberries, but if I'm traveling, I will take that food with me. So I have that same thing for comp, because I want it always to be the same.
Yeah.
I have a carb drink that I have, which is usually going to be something like Vitago, mixed in. I have with a bit of creatine, because I want to try and be heavy as quickly as possible. I have salty food straight up, and I have a drink which I put in 4 of the gastrolyte or hydrolyte in straight away, scull it, coconut water. I'm trying to be heavy as quickly as possible.
Cool. Can you talk about I know that a lot of people try the water cut here and they don't know how to do it, or they don't know how to water load, they don't know how to water cut. It's a sensitive topic as well. And some things work for people, some things don't. So you said you do add a little bit of distilled water, it is? And less salt?
Yeah. Well, I found when you are doing these things, you need to keep a journal for yourself because everybody reacts differently.
Right.
I've tried to cut salt at the last minute and it doesn't go. I have to start almost 2 weeks out cutting my salt for that to get out of my system. And I drink 5 to 6 litres, not including coffee and tea. Because no matter when I'm cutting weight, I still want to have my coffee in the morning with milk and 1 sugar. I never get rid of that, no matter what's happening. That is my one joy at 5 a.m. in the morning, you know?
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And
so I drink that. You've got to be careful because you can start feeling really bad on it. If you start getting a headache and your vision starts getting a bit strange, you feel lightheaded. If I feel that way, I will eat something, and I'll just eat some carbs, and I'll just sit and I won't drink water until I feel better. Because sometimes, because the water it becomes such a drudgery, you try and scull it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when do you start the water cut?
5 days out, 6 days. Depends how much weight I've got to lose.
A gradual one, right?
Yeah, I do 3 to 4 litres the first day, then straight up to 6. And because I'm small, I don't want to go much more than 6 or 7. I've done 8, and that went straight away to, terrible feelings. And when you are doing stuff like that, you've just got to remember it feels bad, but it's not forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even dieting feels bad, doesn't it,
Yeah.
for the first couple of days? It's not forever. It's for a reason, and we're doing the sport.
Yeah.
You're not going to die. Well, and as long as you don't keep drinking.
Yeah.
I
Gotta
think,
be careful.
as you mentioned, I mean, everyone's different, and you do need to have a notebook, and you do need to experiment before you get into. So don't do it like 2 weeks before a comp.
Yeah.
Do it like somewhere in the middle where you're
Yeah.
training, and you know exactly how your body reacts to
Yeah.
that process, and then play around with it, tweak it, but just don't mess around with your comp prep.
No,
Especially if it's your
because
first one.
actually a bad weight cut can destroy your peak.
Yeah.
Totally. And I also know exactly, like I've been keeping a log of how much I lose overnight. So because I'm usually one of the first people to compete, being in a lighter weight class, I need to know how much I lose overnight. And usually when I'm cutting water, it'll be about a kilo.
A kilo in the night, nice. I know someone who does that too. Abby?
Yeah.
Nice.
Abby's kind of crazy when it comes to water cuts though.
Does she do a big one?
She coaches me through them, and she's like, yeah, we'll cut the water on the last day.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's actually that I forgot to mention that 12 hours out, I just start sipping. So the whole point of a water cut is that your body all of a sudden thinks you need to pee all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just stop all water altogether, your body won't pee.
Correct.
And you want it, so you keep sipping so your body thinks it's getting water, and then you usually will keep going to the bathroom. And I take double dose vitamin C, and I take vitamin B during the day, and that usually helps. Magnesium the night before.
Good.
She makes me eat a lemon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good too. Sometimes they do a lemon with sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To help with that, yeah.
Just so you can sleep too, hey? Sometimes, because it does your stomach.
She's
And a
tells me
scoop-
to do it, not
A
do
spoon
it.
of peanut butter.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cut.
Yeah. Next topic.
It's good to get that kind of knowledge out of me because I've been competing for so long.
Yeah. So do you adapt your nutrition at all around your period and hormonal cycle?
You know, that's actually a difficult question because you have two sides to it, because as females, it doesn't matter if we get our period and we have to compete. We just have to compete. We can't. So I try to train myself to not feel weaker, if you know what I mean. Even though I do need more carbs.
Yeah.
So the week before, I'll eat more carbs. But if I'm cutting weight, I can't do that. So when I'm in the gym, I try and use this visualization and just thinking it doesn't matter what's happening, I can still lift this weight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I do, when I'm leading up to a comp, say just during training, I know I'll have to eat some more. And do you know what? I might have a glass of wine and some chocolate.
So yeah,
Or two.
I think that's a good sort of differentiation to make. So in your normal year, like when you're not in the middle of comp prep, then
Be kind.
be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
So you do, like when you start your period, you'll increase your carbs a little.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I think this is something that I see come up a lot with, especially, like I liked that you made that point earlier that you try to, if you know you're going to be competing as a 52, you try to get as close to that, like quite a long way out, so that it's an easy cut. Like it's easy to lose 2 kilos relatively,
I
rather
can
than
lose 1.5 kilos in just fluid.
Yeah.
And if I pushed it 2 kilos, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see quite often that people trying to do a huge weight cut in a short amount of time, and I've always been of the opinion that if I can be as close to or even slightly under my weight at all times, then I can be kind to myself. When I feel like I need more carbs, I can eat more. I can eat completely normally.
I totally agree with that, yeah. It's like I said before, a bad weight cut will destroy your peak. Unless you are 18 and that will only work, I reckon, twice. Like I've seen it.
Yeah.
JP, he did do some amazingly crazy weight cuts and they worked okay for him, but they stopped working after a while.
Yeah.
You can't do that to your body and lift your maxes
Yeah.
forever.
You're only 18 once.
Yes. And I was not lifting weight at that time.
Yeah, and for as far as training, obviously, like we're progressively getting, like coming up to a comp, the numbers are going to increase, but with as far as adaptations to training around your hormonal cycle, well, you do track your training and you'll be tracking what you're hitting as based on your RP, but do you notice that there are dips in your cycle?
Yes, because I work RPE, I really am always thinking about how the lifts have felt, that sort of thing. And it gives me a bit of leeway when it is my period. So I'll definitely notice that my legs, etc., my squats, they become worse. It's like I can't engage my core as much because all that area is inflamed. As soon as I get my period, I start getting stronger, straight up, you know. But I've noticed I'm strongest the week after. One full week after, I'm at my peak strength. I feel glorious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, you can't ever let that stuff get in your head. If you want to compete, you could just, you put it out of your head and you just go for whatever's in you that day.
And that's you're always going to lift your best. It might feel heavier than it may normally feel.
Yeah. But adrenaline is an amazing thing, you know.
So Liz, what would be your preferred recovery methods? I see you do a lot of mobility with bands.
I do love to use bands.
You do love your bands.
I carry them wherever I go.
Especially the Generation Strong ones, right?
Yes.
You can buy them on the website, right?
You can buy them on the website, like this hat.
What was that website again?
GenerationStrong.com.
There you go. Amazing. Who would have known?
That is amazing.
Right?
What a coincidence.
They need to advertise more.
I know, they really should.
Okay, so what would be your preferred recovery methods? You've touched on massage a bit, and what else would you say would be your go-to?
Well, massage is my favorite because I just lie there. But sleep is what I'm lacking the most. and it's where I noticed even just here the first couple of days I was sleeping a lot more than usual, and I PB'd most of my lifts after a few nights of good sleep.
Nice.
And getting rid of stress. I think a lot of the recovery has to be here.
Yeah.
Like we do the body stuff as well, but as soon as I'm recovered in my head,
Yeah.
then I feel like I lose a lot of tension out of my body too.
And how much does sleep cost?
Free.
It's free.
It's free.
The most inexpensive way and the most effective way.
And it's anabolic.
Yeah. Very anabolic.
Yeah.
Correct. Are you a fan of hot and cold showers?
I am not a fan, but I do know they work. I have a sauna at home, so I've got an infrared sauna, and then I get out and I rinse off in the cold too.
Nice.
Yeah, which is good.
I've just had sauna envy.
Yeah.
Infrared sauna too, so it pulls out all the plastics from your skin.
It's a beautiful sauna. Yeah. How do you know that?
Charles Poliquin.
Aha.
Did a lot of
Yeah.
research on that a long time ago.
Actually, yeah. I was talking to Sonia about that. She loves them,
Yeah.
which made me happy because it cost $8,000.
Good investment.
Pretty
Yes.
expensive, yeah. So massage, infrared saunas, sleep,
Yeah. Good
cold
nutrition.
shower.
I always, so I try to eat greens with every meal, and I do have protein powder. I don't actually take many supplements. Magnesium I find really beneficial. It helps me sleep, and it also relaxes me, so my muscles feel better the next day. Even if that's a placebo, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I take magnesium as well.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I use.
Yeah.
I used to, but the stuff over here just makes my stomach upset.
But you know, that's
You need a good
what
quality
happens.
one. You need a good quality one though.
Yeah.
You need a good quality one. It's really hard to find.
Yeah.
Like in North America, yeah, we could get like the ATP labs and
Can't you get it
Charles Poliquin.
sent over?
I need to work on that, but I'm just like natural now.
You could
Keep it all
make
food.
Generation Strong
Natty.
Magnesium.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah.
Could talk to Dr. Sonia about
We will.
this.
We will. Okay, so cut that segment. We move on to.
Shall we put on?
Let's just keep. Oh yeah, let's put on.
Let's do all the
Two
hats
sets.
and this, and then wrist straps, just for this next one.
I think the all hats is going to be very distracting, so keep that for the last question, where we
Okay.
ask you where can people find you. Because like I don't like she'll have to
Your
balance.
answer should be under the hats.
And then her like link comes up on top of the hats.
Okay, well, we don't need to put anything because we've got a few more questions.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So, if you had to have a favorite accessory movement for squat, bench, and deadlift, like if you had to choose one for each, what would they be?
So I'm very specific with my training, so I practice squats by squatting, benching, and deadlifting, but I found split squats amazing for both squat and deadlift. Glute bridges, good just for teaching where, when you lock out sumo, where you should use your glutes. And bench press, I have found pull-ups, believe it or not, and tricep, kickbacks, really good. Because for me, it's all about straightening that elbow, and I feel that that's where I hit it.
That's why I do dips.
Yeah,
Weighted dips was had
Dips
a big
are good too.
crossover for me. Yeah.
because then you're building all through here.
And you can lift a bit more too, right?
Yeah.
But I love
Do you know
this.
what? Marissa gets her clients to just add in more push-ups. So close and further out, because for girls it's all about volume and building that muscle. So even if you just do 10 push-ups a day, that's a lot more volume per week.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marissa.
Yeah, I love it.
Stolen it.
That's great. Great advice.
Two things, or let's go with one thing. One thing you think athletes should do more of, apart from sleep and walk.
Well, I think that they should do their prehab and rehab. And mental game, 100%. If we're talking about athletes, I was not hitting my potential for years purely because I couldn't get out what I could lift on the platform. Once I started working on the mental game, I all of a sudden was hitting what I actually, the actual strength I was. Do you know what I mean?
Excellent.
So that was practicing competing in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting there looking at my lifts and then getting ready here before I lift. So building myself up, doing the lift, coming back, sitting down and calming down. In between lifts, you should not be hyped. You should be still, breathing.
When you're competing, what is your strategy like to be able to do that? Like obviously if you practice it in training, but it's a slightly different experience when you're...
Yes, when you're competing.
And it's especially big meets and it's loud and there's loads of people around. Do you have specific things that help you to stay centered?
Yes, well I used to have music, but what used to happen is I'd take off my headphones and then I'd be shocked by reality. So now I put my headphones on so people don't talk to me. I just have silence often, and I will sit there and I will watch myself doing a good squat over and over again. Then I start bringing that into me and I remember the feeling. Because in the end, squatting, deadlifting, when you're in your own body, it's just a feeling. It's rhythm and it's balance, and that's what you got to remember, you know? So I walk out there and I already know how it's meant to feel because I've visualized, I've held the bar already, I've felt the weight on my back, and then I've walked it out. And I know exactly how fast I need to hit it and where my balance should be.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
That works really well for me.
Yeah.
If I'm calm enough to do that.
Yeah.
If I need calming down, I need to breathe through here, and I'll put on some classical music just to calm me. Because I get a bit hype.
And you read books? And you read audiobooks? You listen to audiobooks, sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, everyone has different ways.
Yeah, because like it's, if I listen to music, I keep thinking about stuff. And if I listen to an audiobook, it's like someone's telling, like it's a story or whatever. I can think about something separate, and I can think of it just like it being a training session.
Yeah. And try to make it fun as well.
I listen to Bollywood music.
Oh, that's wonderful, because that's
makes me fun,
yeah.
Just makes me like move, I got this. No more nerves, just do it.
Yeah. Well, I was at Delicebelle the other day and they played Huey Lewis and the News for their top sets, and I was like, oh, that's fun. I'm usually with death metal and, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One thing you think people should do less of?
Get off social media, because that will ruin your life. You'll compare yourself to everybody else, unless you're looking at our Generation Strong podcasts, of course.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you're getting good at this.
But comparing yourself to others it will never make you stronger, it will make you frantic and trying to catch them, and you'll forget about actually just making your lifts better. So that's definitely one. Another thing, it's just rushing, because I've been going for 8 years now, and I'm still getting stronger, you know? And I know people that have been in it for way longer than me. Kimberly Walford, she's been lifting for 20 years, and look where she is now. She wouldn't have started there,
No,
you know?
exactly.
We just got to put our head down and keep the pressure on. Your body will adapt, it'll get stronger. Don't rush, because what's the point?
Yeah, I agree. And that don't get caught up in the what this moment when you have a crappy day, or maybe you have a month where you've been sick or work got in the way and your training wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
It's like accumulation of 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
That week or that training session means nothing anymore.
Yeah. I don't even care anymore, whereas I would have gotten crazy. All those things that I say not to do is the things that I used to do, you know?
It's experience.
Yeah.
The best in the world.
And I went, this did not make me stronger, this just ruined my life for a little while.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for Liz Craven?
Lift-wise, I'm hoping for a 200 kilo deadlift.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. And a 90 kilo bench, please. Just give me a 90 kilo bench.
The bench gods.
Yeah.
You're so close.
Oh yes, 170 squat. I would love to test out what I can squat in knee wraps too. I reckon I can
That'd be
squat
cool.
close to 200. But, that's just me dreaming until I actually try.
You know, the good news is we do have some knee wraps on sale on the Generation Strong.
Ooh,
Yeah.
again, convenient.
Yeah, it's very convenient. We have there. They're called the Black Mambas.
Ooh, and I'm African, so that works
There you
well,
go,
huh?
that's perfect.
So, where we make a fool of Liz Craven.
No.
So, top 3 people that we should follow.
Project Generation Strong.
Jesse and Ray.
Yeah. Well, Shero. Everybody should follow Shero.
Everyone should
Yes.
Let me see.
plug in as much as we can right now.
I love the Squat University.
Mhm.
Yes. I also, I don't know, I don't actually look at that much stuff anymore because I'm trying to stay off my phone. Can you actually take me seriously like this?
I love it. So great. So great.
Who else do I love? Marissa Inder. She's so fun.
Definitely.
And,
Mike.
oh yeah, Mike, of course. We've got to follow Mike for the Knowledge Bombs, RTS. And,
The best stuff is on his Insta stories
yeah.
because his actual
And he
Insta-
goes into a lecture.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
goes on rants and his stories are amazing sometimes.
But Mike, why are they always sideways? Please stop that. Why? I sent him messages going, please stop making sideways stories. And who else? I also love powerlifting women. And I love the meme pages because they're funny.
Oh my god.
I catch up on all the
Frustrated
gossip.
Strength coach cracks me up so
Yes.
hard.
Yeah, frustrated strength coach. And Juggernaut. Juggernaut's always got great info.
Excellent.
I should have said RP.
Yeah. RP strength.
RP Strength for your nutrition needs.
Yeah.
They are actually, well, they do actually put out some great info as well.
Mm.
And it's science-based, I like that.
Yeah.
It's only gonna work if I hook up one hat to another hat.
This is so great.
Aren't you glad I'm a good sport? What? No, put the pink one.
Oh my god, you've got to get a photo of this for Insta.
What would be your top recommended book right now?
My top recommended book.
How to be Gangster 101.
Yeah.
Gangster for Dummies.
Cat in the Hat. I just actually read the best graphic novel and it was called The Best We Could Do. The Best We Could. And that made me cry. It was really beautiful and well. These are prescription.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no, I can't see.
She's like, I don't know why I'm feeling cross-eyed right now.
Yes, but I actually came into
Literally.
I came to Dubai and nobody can take me seriously. But they have the best selection of graphic novels and I am taking home 10 books. So that's good.
Literally trying to find
Yeah.
space
Yeah.
to carry the books home.
You want to take off the glasses?
Yes.
Don't want to get you blind.
This is so great. So, where can people find you?
Under the hat.
Under the hats. Liz Powerlifts is my Instagram. Liz Powerlifts at Gmail is my email. And Liz Craven for Facebook.
Yeah.
And in Canberra, come and train.
The coaching.
Liz Craven Coaching?
Liz Craven Coaching is my coaching page.
Nice.
Beautiful. Are you taking on clients at the moment?
I
Or
am
are you
taking
full?
Well,
You're like,
I always
depends if
like
I
to
like
work.
you enough.
yes.
If you mention Generation Strong in the email, she'll give you.
Yeah, I'll give you a
She'll
try.
take you on. Yeah.
She'll consider taking you
She'll
on.
consider taking you on.
If you
Yes.
sound like a good client who's going to work hard.
If you can only send her a picture with more than hats.
Yes.
Yeah, and all the
If
Gen
you look
Strong
good in
merch.
hats,
Yeah.
I'll consider taking you in.
And if you wearing Jen Strong in the photo,
Yeah,
then
then yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
She'll consider you.
What is this generation strong?
Alrighty, Liz, it was a pleasure to have you on the talk show and in Dubai.
It's a pleasure being your fashion icon.
It's a whole new career change.
It's a look. It's definitely a look, isn't it?
Thank you for being a
She can be the
great
strength
sport.
model. Strength model.
Finally, I'm an
Like,
Insta
take away
model.
Fitness model. Strength model.
Yeah, take that, Jackie.
How much?
That should add her about 150,000 followers.
Oh,
How
yeah.
many hats does he have to give you to wear that onto platform?
That would be great.
Well, thank you so much again for being on the talk show and gracing us with your presence in Dubai and being at the Shero Summit as well, and for your time today.
It's
It
been
was,
a pleasure. Thank you for having me. I've had a blast. Seriously.
We've had a blast.
Yes.
And thank
now,
you for doing this.
Yeah, this was fun.
It was
I
not
did this
our.
for free.
It was not our idea. It was her idea. Awesome, guys. Stay strong and stay hangry, and keep following us for more updates.
Beautiful.
Take it out.
Show me a photo.